I know that it's an engagement instead of just a regular relationship, I'm like, girl,
it's almost like you
get ready.
You can feel
you're gonna
the
come out of
feelings.
this shit either way, alone or not alone, but you're gonna come out of it. Okay? Like,
so it's a lot. It's a lot. So for the remainder of the year, really what I want to do is focus on myself.
let's go. Hello, everyone.
What's up, besties?
Welcome back to the motherfucking #1 comedy podcast about mental health. I feel so hyped when I start with the motherfucking #1 and then it just goes up
And I
from
always
there.
go.
I know, right? Welcome back to Mental Chillness, a comedy podcast about living with mental illness and working towards mental chillness.
We are your hosts. I'm Jules.
And I'm Con.
And we're your furry buff.
We got another fucking very buff mother in the house today. We got Candace back, and you can finally see her beautiful face, all her dreads, her cool ass style. Last time you only had a voice, and Candace honestly has like one of the best podcasting voices, cause she's so like sultry and like it's just so like soothing, you
For
know.
Oh, thank
So
you.
now there's a beautiful face for the voice.
Oh, thank you. I'm Candace. You can find me on Instagram on
The hype is dead.
The Hype is Dead.
Yes, but it's not dead.
Yeah,
Cause she's the hype killer.
Bam. So yes, The Hype is Dead, spelled 100% correct, and you can find me there on every platform.
Yeah! And we're so freaking excited. It's raining and fucking cold as shit right now.
Freezing.
Jules, if you haven't noticed, poppin' today, had to make up for last week.
Yeah.
She
You
came
guys
in and
know.
I was like, do I have to change? And then I was like, fuck it.
She
Fuck
looked
it.
at me. She said, "Your lips, girl, chonga-licious."
Remember
And I
last
was
week
like, "That's
when we
the
were
best
talking about
compliment."
chonga vibes?
I
She
was-
literally came with the chonga lips.
I love it.
I was literally like, "That's the best compliment." I'm like healing my inner child because forget it, the hoops, the everything. I was
Yes,
like, yeah.
let's
Last week I
go.
was looking a little homeless, so I wanted to
Her
make up for it.
serotonin is back.
Yeah, she's back and she's better.
Exactly. As you can tell, if you are listening on the audio right now, please go over YouTube at Mental Chillness and check us out. Full video content is available, and please don't forget to subscribe and share our pod and leave a rating and review because that helps us a lot. We are still just like a smaller platform, and we're very grateful for everyone that listens. So if you guys want to share us, that would be really helpful.
For sure. And even if it's just an episode that you're like, oh my God, my cousin, she was just talking about how it's so hard for her to meditate, or I don't know, an episode that you feel like would really touch someone that you know, just share it to them. Share the love.
Exactly. Also, I cannot fucking believe that Thanksgiving is one next week.
Can you, bro?
And 2023.
That is crazy.
It's around the corner.
I can't even
This
fathom that.
is, you know what's crazy? I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she was like, "This year went by fast for everyone," and then she was like, "I wonder why it felt fast for everyone." And in my mind, I was like, "It's because when you live in like such a capitalistic society to where you have to work to live,
Oof.
it really will never feel like." Your time is like at your leisure, you know what I'm saying? It honestly just feels like every day is a repeat of every day because you literally have to work to live.
Yeah.
And like that, that's why last week our episode with Kaylee was all about like traveling, mental benefits of like solo trips, all of this shit. And I really wanted to bring that up because I wanted to hit the point that like we should not be living to work, we should be working to live. Every fucking other continent and country understand that so much better than us. Like, fucking dude, in Vietnam, you do your shit, you whatever, third world ass country, but everybody is still chilling, fucking going out for coffee and tea dates and all of this shit. And
On
it
the
just
regular.
seems so much, like, it's so much more relaxed. Like in Europe, there's fucking shops everywhere, on every street corner, and people just literally are just like hiking, walking, you know, their doggies are fucking out, whatever.
skating.
Like, it just feels so much more chill than here. Here, everyone feels like they could burst into tears at any moment.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? I used to work by the airport, so I used to see people come in from all walks of life. But people say that here people live happy and they seem so happy and everybody's so nice here.
It's because the American dream sells a certain like perspective. You know what
For
I'm
sure.
saying? Like, if I think about it right now, my parents are in their mind, they've made it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to like an actual like wealthy middle class person, whatever it is that has been living here and whatever, you know, like my parents' lives might seem so small to them, but in my parents' eyes, they really have made it. And I'm like grateful that like I can see different perspectives and can have like humility in everything that I do and think because of like what I see. But like my parents, it's the same as like the American dream sells like a certain perspective and a certain like literally a dream,
It has like a
dream,
yeah.
right? Because here, yes, the quality of life is a lot better because of everything that is available here. But then if you really fucking think about it, are people really happy? No, because the corporations are making them work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They can barely afford rent on their own. Every fucking adult is living with somebody else, probably not by choice, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you have to understand that like that's the condition that you're living under. So you cannot just like fall for it and then think that you have to live a miserable life because you have to work to live.
Yeah.
Just because we're in this condition doesn't mean that we have to submit to it. You have to find your own way to make your life beautiful. You have to find your own ways to romanticize your life. Whatever, because yeah, you have to fucking make a living to afford shelter and whatnot, but like all of your joys don't have to be robbed.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But that power, it's in you. You have control of the perspective of how you're living your life. So like, I don't even know how we started talking about this in the first place. I literally don't know why.
It's so beautiful though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want us all to like have like just like time at our own leisure to do things.
There we go. How time was flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
it's because we work to live.
It's crazy. But we did this last week. But since it's very close to the end of the year, I wanted to kind of start out with like kind of a self-evaluation. How we've been doing, how proud you are of yourself, what you would like to use this remaining time of this year left. Like, what would you want to dedicate that for? Like, how are you, you know how we're always like, how are you mentally ill or chill? I feel like we're all like super duper ill.
Reality.
Super duper ill, yo. I'm literally, remember how I always talk about how I'm working and I'm serving my tables and then I go back and then I'm crying at the credenza. And literally yesterday I'm at the computer and I'm like, and then I'm like, back. Like,
Five waters.
like for real. It's just like, we're ill here, man.
Yeah.
But let's start with our guest. How the fuck have you been doing since the last time we've seen you?
Give us
Girl.
Give us the tea. Give us the.
It's been an emotional roller coaster. A lot has changed. I'm going through a kind of a healing process, I would say, where I'm making sure that right now I can clearly see where I want to be. So, particularly in my relationship. So I want to be able to be like, okay, this is the relationship for me, but also how do I want to construct it to be able to not. It kind of sounds like in a controlling way.
I understand, but I know what you're saying.
But I want to have a plan to be able to propel and move forward. Because that was the issue in the first place. Not having expectations. Not knowing how long this person is going to be in my life. So kind of going day by day. And day by day turned into 3 years. And
you know, your Taurus ass cannot be doing that. You
She
absolutely
really
cannot. Because I'm sitting here like, I'm a Virgo.
She's
so
like this.
We're
She's
like
like
Earth
me.
sisters.
She's
And I'm
like-
like, girl, that's a little chaotic. You know, we need a plan.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds like we're trying to control everything. But we're not. We're trying to actually just control what is in our own control. And that, you know, but I feel you, girl. I feel you, girl.
So as of late, I literally and metaphorically and physically pushed everything out of my life to be able to accommodate what I wanted feel. I want to be able to actually feel, do I miss this person? Do I want these certain people in my life? Do I want to, maybe even down to the nitty gritty of, do I want to behave a certain way?
Yes.
How do I want to be able to react? One concept that was kind of trivial to me was being kind in the moment, because it's just a lot less energy than being upset.
Yes.
And to
Oh
me
my God.
sometimes,
That's fine.
yeah, and to me sometimes not being so kind is easier.
Yes.
But I've realized, and what's funny is I've learned this from work, which I'm a little tired of too sometimes. But
She's like, that's another topic.
yeah. But simple is not always easy.
Yeah.
So when we realize, okay, I can do this, all I have to do is just write it down and figure out my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that simple.
Yeah.
There's a lot more digging and being able to cry with your therapist and different things like that to be able to go through it. So right now, the people in my life, particularly my partner, is not so keen on the idea of kind of getting myself, not giving myself
the
the
idea
time.
of space is never.
Yes.
You're almost never on the same page with the idea of space, because you guys have different. You think he thinks you're using this time for something else, and you are actually using this time for something else.
Right. Know? Well, it's because it's more so. Well, I'm not really seeing on the outside where things are changing. So, do I really have the patience to see something actually show up for me? You know. And that's
where your like independence comes in, and you're like, listen, if you don't got this, look at me, buddy. I promise you, I do.
Yeah.
So you just need to sign here, and initial here.
Right.
Because
get the fuck out. That's what you're signing.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to figure this out for the both of us.
Yeah.
Really.
To save some time.
So, we're mentally ill right
We
now,
are.
but
And I can really understand what you're going through, because it's not just a relationship, it's an engagement. So like, so everyone know I have an ex-fiance.
Yeah.
So like, whenever somebody talks about like their separation or whatever it is, and I know that it's an engagement instead of just a regular relationship, I'm like, girl,
it's almost like you
get ready.
You can feel
you're gonna
the
come out of
feelings.
this shit either way, alone or not alone, but you're gonna come out of it. Okay, like,
so it's a lot. It's a lot. So for the remainder of the year, really, what I want to do is focus on myself and understand. Although, self-care, all that other stuff, but I want to really get to know me on a deeper level where I can actually ask and answer those questions.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it, but it's more of that shadow work that they were talking about, where and I do it all the time in the car. It's like, okay, you feel this way. Why do you feel this way? Well, if you feel this way, what is good or bad about that feeling? And what can we change it? Should we change it? And why are we not?
Exactly.
So,
part of, I do that as well, but a part of my like self-talk is asking myself whether or not it has anything to do with me. Because a lot of a situation that I'm going through right now is like not being seen and heard and given the opportunity to even talk. Like being just completely shut out, right? And a lot of my self-work right now is like asking myself like, okay, dude, like, is it really you? Is it really you that don't know how to talk? Or is it because you're not given the opportunity to talk? You know what I'm saying? So I have to like really sit there and be like, bro, you're good. You know how to talk. You know what you feel. You know what the fuck to do. It's not you this time. It's this person that's refusing to give you the opportunity to have a conversation. And that's not on you. That's on them.
Yeah.
Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
But
You heard it here first. Thank you.
I try so hard to not be like, like hateful and whatever, but like it comes out. But when it comes out, it's more of like a joke, because I don't really feel that way, because I don't want anything to do with you. But at the same time, I really still want to be petty. I wish you get like diarrhea and gonorrhea and like all of that shit or something, just because like that's how I feel on the inside.
I hope you lock your keys in your car.
For
like,
real.
For real.
But
that's the worst.
But again, we're back to love and light, and we're seen. Done.
Done.
I feel like we're all on the same page, okay? Because for me, at least, I feel like I never felt heard or seen. But the thing is, the person was always like, hey, let's communicate. Hey, let's communicate. But the times that I communicated and at least tried to, I always felt like got talked over, or it was just things like that where I didn't feel safe enough to communicate. So I just felt like, oh, this doesn't even really, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but all I ask is communication. And then in those moments, I'm like, I don't even feel safe enough to communicate right
That's so gaslighting from someone that's demanding communication without actually listening. Like, they only demand communication so that they can manipulate you.
Or they judge your logic based on the perception of what you're basing your logic on, which may or may not be the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
But because you have a certain amount of evidence or information that they obviously have more of, they obviously have more information or evidence of, you're acting a certain way because of this. Well, if I feel a certain way about that personally, that's how I'm going to react.
Yeah. Sometimes people want you to talk as well just so that they can attack you. Like, sometimes they want you to, like, they'll provoke the conversation, but not in the intention of having a conversation, but more so like, I know how to crush you, and this is how I'm going to do it. And a lot of times, I completely, like, my argument style is zero. Like, we're not arguing. I'm shutting the fuck down, and, like, we're done with this.
Okay.
Because, and that's not the way to be. That's not how I want to be.
That's
how I am.
way.
Like, and it comes from, like, dude, I'm literally unpacking this right now. I'm waiting to talk to my therapist, like, right now about this shit. But
she's like, I have a call with him later.
I always thought it was kind of weird that this person that I met has the same birthday as my dad, and, like, is an Aries, the same exact, like, way of being and everything. And I always kind of thought it was weird, and I never paid attention to it until now. I always knew it was a factor, but just now have I realized that, like, I'm hurting so much because this person is a reflection of my relationship with my dad. There was nothing ever that he was really proud of me for, and I never really was behaving or growing in any way that my dad wanted me to be. So my whole life, I never talked about anything because none of it was, like, I wasn't able to discuss anything because it was either their way or they were not going to hear me.
Right.
So then the reflection of this relationship with this person is that it's great and all and whatever, but when they don't feel like going into whatever we have to go into, they completely shut me out. So I don't even have an opportunity to be able to be like, hey, let's, whatever, my side, your side, whatever. Same shit with my dad. Once he finds something that he doesn't like, he doesn't give me the opportunity to talk about it, to explain it, or even listen to me. He'd rather not know about it at all. And I never knew that hurt me so much because it shuts me up as a person. Not only to him, but to everyone else, because growing up, if I was never approved, why would I show it in the first place? I'm just going to continue to do me, but, like, in the shadow. You know what I'm saying? And now all of it is, like, literally, like, it's all showing me in relationships now that I have in my life.
It's, like, unfolding in the front of your eyes.
And that's why dude, my dad came over, saw my weed. This is, like, the second or third time that he sees it, and he, like, knows that I smoke, right? But he won't talk to me about it. Not even, like, they're, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with my tattoos, like, they found out, and then, like, there was no, like, okay, I see you have tattoos, maybe we can move on from there. It's more like, okay, now that I know you have tattoos, don't show it around me. Hide them. So it's literally, like, my entire life, it was like, if you are not going to approve of me anyways, why the fuck do I feel like showing myself? I'm extremely confident in myself and my being, but I will not take my being where it's not, like, like, where people are not fucking supporting it, because it's not safe. So in the same sense of a conversation, I know what the fuck I want to say. I know my stance. I know what the fuck I feel about you, everything. But if I don't feel safe in that moment because you are not giving me the opportunity of being listened to, like a true conversation, then I don't want to talk. And that, on top of being gaslit about how I feel and, like, why I behave the way that I behave, bro, complete shutdown as a person.
You're gonna make me freak the fuck out. Okay, because honestly, every relationship, because I like women.
Get ready, the application's gonna be available soon, baby.
I promise you, they're open now. Anyway, listen. Every single relationship I seek, like this, I love when people tell me they're proud of me. I love when people tell me, oh my God, you did so good today, and I always
trying to get your mommy in there.
I miss my mommy.
Yep.
Mommy Milky, like, like, I miss... I missed my mom so much, and I needed like that validation, and I'm proud of you that in relationships, I'm like, I wash the dishes. You better come give me a kiss and tell me, wow, baby, you're amazing today. But I
that's
don't.
What it takes.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I know it never has to get to that point. I know that that's my little toxic trait that I'm trying to move on from. But it's like, I seek that from my mom. Even to this day, I'll come home from work so tired, and she'll be like, oh, I'm so proud of you. And I'll get like this, like,
oh, man.
like, oh my God, like this, like, like boner. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I needed.
Like grabbing onto every crumb.
And it's so crazy because every single relationship, I'm like, tell me you love me. Tell me that you're so proud of me. Tell me that I'm good enough. Tell me that you don't want anybody else but me. But it's because I seek that from my mom for so long.
Well, see, but the thing is, you know that,
Yeah.
right? And you are fully aware of that. And
Now.
just because of that doesn't mean that you're gonna magically meet a partner that's going to give you exactly what you want without having to ask for it. You
Sure.
are still going
Yeah.
to have to ask for it, and that is still how you are going to be. But you will just meet different people that are healthier and will work with you for those whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you will always have mommy issues.
Yeah.
No
100%.
matter like how much you work on yourself, that's still gonna be like the core of your being. You know what I'm saying? But you will meet people that are healthy enough, and you can come together.
And
that
like
that won't
nurture
like
that part that you
that
need.
won't inflame that part like in unhealthy ways that you've experienced.
Yeah.
You know, like. And I just want, you know what she just said? She said she went to some fucking crystal bitch or whatever, and she did. Tell them what you did.
Okay,
this
so
is why the application is available now.
Yes, I went to this crystal shop. It's on Dean. I don't even remember the name. I think it's called like. Yes.
I know it.
Okay,
I
so
love
she
that
knows
place.
the name of it. Enter right here. And I went there, and I was talking to the girl. We were just like talking about, I don't know, some random stuff. And you know, I'm just a very open person, so then we ended up talking about my life, and then I ended up crying, but it's okay. I was okay. And I ended up talking.
Place to cry, to be honest.
It is, and they make you feel so seen and so heard, and that rarely happens to me. Who knew? So I'm there, and I'm talking to her about, you know, my situation, what I'm going through. You know, I'm just healing, feeling, growing, flourishing. And she tells me, and she goes, I think I have the thing for you. And I said, take me there. I follow her, and we go, and it's like this like little string of tie. And she said, this is for soul ties. If you feel like you're really connected with somebody, and you feel like, you know, you wake up with them on your mind, and it's just, you know, it's hard. It's been a whole year I've been single, and it's been hard. So she looks at me and she goes, set your intentions. I want you to meditate. I want you to really sit in your feelings. And I'm like, okay, I really got to sit in these feelings. I sat, I didn't even like put a timer. Usually I put timers for meditation. I don't know why, but I get a little bit anxious after a while. Okay. I didn't set a timer, nothing. I just put meditation music. Next thing you know, I look, I'm 45 minutes into the meditation. Like I just sat there. So I sat there and I wrote a letter. Set my intentions, said everything about the person that I was doing it about, how I was feeling, how I wanted to feel, and how I wanted to move forward. The letter was almost 2 pages long.
Wow.
I didn't even know I had that much to say. Like, I get so heavy, but I'm so relieved. Like, I don't feel like that. Like, I didn't wake up today, like, groggy. Like, I felt so good. So I wrote the letter, put it at the bottom of it, and I just burned the twine. And it's, like, connected. And you burn it, and it just, like, you see it, like, unravel. And it just burned with the paper. Oh my God, I'm getting the chills. Because seeing it, I was crying.
Was
and I
that
was
the
just
first time
sobbing.
you've ever written something and burned?
First time.
Dude, okay, so I've done that a lot.
She's like, this is a weekly thing for me.
But it's because I have such problems talking to people, especially when it's not a safe space and that I'm not like welcome in to share my feelings. I did that a lot with this person. Anytime that I felt frustrated and I couldn't really like relieve it by actually talking to them, you know what I'm saying? I would just write them a letter. I would just be like,
really
dear, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I feel this because of this, and you are treating me like this, and I don't want it, I don't like it, and this is why, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then I would, in the letter, every time I write a letter, I would always say what I'm grateful for. Thank you.
Wow.
I'm grateful that I've known you. I'm grateful that we got to do this together. I'm grateful that this, and that. I'm grateful for this dog.
You can never take
Always.
memories back.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I would just write it, and I would just be like, thank you, but I'm done.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm letting this go because it doesn't serve me anymore. Like
under the rug.
That's it. Exactly. And then I'm water that light that shit up.
Well,
I've
I wanted
never
to
done
piggyback off of what you were saying about when you find someone that's going to be willing to be able to work with you. Not only that, but when you get to a place where you know yourself, you'll be able to be like, this is what I know about me. Here's everything you need to know. Just don't go off script.
Instead of them forming their own ideas, like learning you, it's a lot more helpful. But it even shows. Like you don't even have to come to them and present like a script of this is what I'm about. It shows with the way that you carry yourself. It literally shows with the way, like people see what they can and cannot do to you. Like people read energies, and like only the stupid ones who think that they can cross you when you're not the one, baby. But people know. Like people will always know. Like at work, there are people that are so much more playful with everyone else and whatever, and they have a different type of relationship with me. And I don't take that personally at all because I understand how I carry myself and how I come off, and I don't necessarily need everybody to come up to me and be friendly with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I'm not friendly to you, it's not personal either. I'm not friendly, but I'm still a nice and kind person. I'm not nasty to you, but my choice is to be selective.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to like it sounding like we're trying to control everything. No, we're just very selective because we know ourselves. Why would I let you waste my energy when I know what wastes my energy? That's a waste of my fucking time. You know what I'm saying?
I was criticized for not being so open to introduce myself to people. But if
me, same person, sitting here like the fuck, bitch.
I literally made the face because Con is literally the one at the party, like sitting down. She's like,
but I'm the one sitting down observing because I love seeing people
in
their
chilling.
own element.
Literally chilling still though.
Even if I'm just like
bopping, you don't gotta.
I'm having the time of my life.
Exactly.
I'm chilling. I'm enjoying seeing the people do their thing. Is enjoyment enough for me personally. So sometimes if I don't find that you're an immediate value to me in a social setting. I don't feel that I have to introduce myself to you. But I was criticized for being like kind of rigid in a sense and like unfriendly, and I'm like, no, that's not really, but I don't want to put myself in the place where I have to use my energy to stick my neck out for every single person I come into contact with. I can choose who I want to interact with at any given time. Because I'm in charge of that.
But at the same time, everyone has that fucking power. I'm not gonna go to you and be like, why didn't you talk to that person? You fucking chose that decision. That's what's right for you. I'm not gonna question it. You know what the fuck to do for yourself. I know what the fuck to do for myself. Don't fucking come at me. You know
I
what I'm
just
saying?
love her so
Don't do
much.
it.
Don't fucking come at me. Like,
you know what I always say that I stole from my best friend? Don't tell me my fucking business. Okay? Just don't fucking tell me my business.
Because I know it best.
Exactly, but that's a part
Touch your nose because you're not.
But that's what comes from working on yourself. Literally, what else is the product of working on yourself if it's not knowing yourself and then being selective with what you let get into your life?
Yeah, for sure.
Because like when you're not selective, you literally waste so much of your own time and energy because you don't have that filter up in the first place. So now you're spending time getting to know the people, deciding what the fuck you feel about this, and then having to make the decision to now get them out of your life if that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. I'm not trying to do that. I would rather be a fucking loner, and then whoever pokes their fucking head and get through to my shit, I'd rather welcome that 1,000,000 times because I know you're really for me. You know?
That is it.
Exactly.
I like it. I definitely see the issue.
Also, this is not, I'm not claiming this is the way to be. This is just how we are, but it is not the way to be at all.
I definitely see the issue because I personally have an issue with initiation, and I think that's also where it comes because we want people to poke their head through ours. So that's where it comes from. But it also stems from nobody come to be of support to us. So we want to be the ones to be able to stand still and say, hey, come to me, show me, because all my life I've shown everyone that I've loved and supported them. So That's where it kind of stems from.
And I don't think that that's like I don't think that that's a negative like perspective to
It's a reaction.
Yeah, it is a reaction, but like people that like know enough should know that like that's not from you being like, oh, you ain't shit and this and that. That's you processing your own trauma. You know what I'm saying? And that's, again, piggybacking onto the point of you will meet people who are going to be willing to work with you. Like, not everyone is like, everyone's gonna honor the fact that, like, you don't initiate because of whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to, like, even look at the fact that, like, whatever, because that you, in their eyes, like, why is this bad bitch, like, whatever, like,
she
waiting
should
for
be
me?
confident enough
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Like, listen, like, I have a thing. There's this one, okay, so there's this one word I don't like to be called. But I call it to other people. Do you get what I'm saying? But I don't like it to be called only because as a kid, no, it's Niggn. Okay, so I don't, when in a conversation, when it's getting heated and you call me that, as a kid, I just have this one important person in my life who would call me that, and I would kind of feel like she was talking to me like from some girl from the street. So it just brings back a lot of trauma. But I say it kidding around or being like, bro, like, what? Like, and then they say, you don't like that I call you that, so you can't call me that. But it doesn't offend them or bother them, nor does it bring them trauma.
Exactly. That's them not really paying attention to you. And
so then that makes me feel like, okay, so then I have to refrain from it, rather than then being like, I hear you, I understand, and I'm sorry that you had to.
You're coming from that place.
Rather than me, but then when I say it, I'm like, okay, well then they're right, because I do say that to them and I don't like it, but they don't have an issue with it. But they still don't want me.
Personal boundaries. I read.
Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel a little lost on that.
Yes, I read a tweet, and I'm paraphrasing so badly, but that said, "You cannot blame me for putting on the boundaries that you stepped over for your own self."
Yep.
So just because you don't like a name that I call you,
it's only in the heated moment. When you're saying it a little more aggressive, I don't like that.
Of course.
But when it's regular, it's like, hey, that doesn't offend or bother
you. It could be your name.
Yep.
I personally don't like when people talk to say, be like, okay, Candace. I'm like, you just cussed at me. At this point. But you can't expect someone to respect you for overstepping your own boundaries in calling you the name that you don't like, just because you're playful and doing it for yourself.
So this is another point. You said that you're lost on like the perspective of like how to feel about what they're saying to you. You know that word bothers you, and you know that word triggers you, and you know why. It's not that you don't know why. You know exactly where it comes from, and you know exactly why you process it the way that you do. After this person is telling you that they don't hear you and listen to you, and they said that you can't use it just because vice versa, and it's hypocritical or whatever the fuck it is, don't take that as in you have to change how you feel. Take that as this person isn't listening to me, and I will stand on my fucking point, and I will stand on that shit over my fucking grave, because you will not convince me to change something that I know about myself relating to my own trauma, just because you won't listen to me and respect me enough to fucking, respect what I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Or because you've never been through it yourself.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And all of this is from really immature, like problem solving,
like.
Whatever.
Like
but you need to remember that. You need to remember that, and you need to remember that this is not personal. They're not doing it because of you. You have the right to feel how you feel on that word because of your own trauma, and other people will understand it if they listen to you. This person just happened to not. But you cannot change your opinion because of this person because they are not right.
Yeah.
You get that?
100%.
Amazing.
Screenshot it.
Exactly.
Save it.
I went like this.
Exactly.
That's just...
Dude. So, I came across this documentary on Netflix. It's Jonah Hill's new documentary. It's called Stutz. Stutz is the name of his therapist. It's his therapist's last name, and this is the documentary that he's making of his therapist. And it's really,
such
really,
a smart idea.
It's really beautiful because last week I mentioned that I really, really love the fact that medicine and pills and stuff is being so destigmatized, because now there are like just people coming out and just being like, bro, I could never have this life if I weren't on these pills. Like they're really, really like taking away the stigmas for these things, right? That's how I feel about this. Fucking, like, yeah, famous people could really, because of their platform, you know, create anything and whatever. But the fact that they are really choosing to highlight mental health and mental well-being and all of that shit. And this documentary is a product of it. And it's done so beautifully because it talks about his therapist and his therapist basically, like, his therapist, like, train of thoughts and what he uses on his patients in order to transform their lives. And basically Jonah Hill is making a documentary of it because it helped him, so he thinks that if he does this, it in turn will give that to the people that are viewing it.
Yeah.
And this is literally only in, like, the beginning, right? And you're not even getting anywhere near, but it talks about a really important point, which is that his therapist believe that, like, in order to kind of like ground yourself and find your ways in your being and whatever, and whenever you feel lost, it literally says like whenever you feel like you feel lost, don't try to figure it out, but try to work on your life forces. And so he goes by these 3 life forces, right? And in, like, his belief is that once you activate these life forces and you are connected to them, that's how it's all just gonna fall together, because that's how you're gonna find your purpose and walk in it, right? So your life forces, it starts with 1, your body. So your physical, like your relationship with your physical body. And Jonah Hill talks about the fact that, like, all his life, no one ever framed diet and exercise to be of help of mental health. It has always been framed in the way of there is something wrong with you.
Yeah. Nobody said depression will help.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, exercise will help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, like, dude, like,
this is the cure.
Yeah, like, your relationship with your physical body, if you fucking think about it, I say this all the time, your body is so fucking smart. It will go on without you.
Not only that,
you need to be connected.
You only get one. So
exactly.
Don't you want to take care of it?
Exactly.
Like, I feel like this is like one that we know of.
Exactly. But it's true that, like, the stigma all of your life is that you should exercise and diet because you look wrong, or you look this, you look that, and whatever. But, like, truly, like, exercising and diets, like, at the core, what it truly does for you is, 1, it nourishes your body. It gives it the right fuel, because food is fuel, and you should be eating, and you should be using that to exercise, because physical exercises then release, like, your mental. Same shit with dogs. Why do you think you walk dogs? Why do you think you train dogs? Why do you think that you, like, take up time to, you know, like free up what they're, like, the capacity in their mind or whatever? Because it's the only way that they're going to do that is through physical release. And you know what I'm saying? Same shit with us. Like, it's all living things. Like, you have to move. It literally produces dopamine.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love dopamine.
I know. But I do love the fact that he hits that point to where he said, Jonah Hill was like, all my life I've always had a fuck you attitude to my mom, because my mom would always make me feel like something was wrong with me for telling me to diet and exercise. You know, you know how many people have that relationship?
And what was her answer?
For what?
For when she was like, well, the reason,
I
I can explain.
Thank God we both watched it. So.
She's like, no, well, I want to answer that.
Well, I can't answer that. So,
she's like, I have a question. Question over here.
Ask and answer. So when she went on to explain it, she was like, well, I was the biggest one in my family.
So to pass on.
Yeah, so to pass on that type of trauma, I didn't want to be the biggest one.
Yeah.
I was always the roundest or the tallest or the most brolic or whatever. And then to see my kids look like that, I just was like, okay, we need to find a way to get rid of it. I didn't need the nutritionist to tell me that Jonah was big.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, that's like,
My
like
heart.
okay, so like imagine like hurt people, right? So like imagine you went through all of your life looking and feeling this way, and now you're watching your kids. There must be such confusion within the mom or anybody in that position, because one, you're literally internalizing all the hate that you got all of your life, and then you are trying to protect your children
And
from
not
the
pass
same
it on to
feelings, but
them.
then because you internalized it so hard, the way that you pass it on is like you're judging them. Same shit with that my parents do, right? They want to protect us so bad from the outside world, from the outside opinions and stuff, but they internalized it so hard that they don't see that them restricting us from that, it's really showing their own like, you know, like fear and opinion, instead of like it coming off in a good way. And like it can only come off in a good way if you actually have all the researches and know exactly what the fuck you're talking about and know the intention of what you want to do with this. Which is why I say it must have been so confusing for Jonah Hill's mom to like to be feeling all of these things about herself and then seeing it happening again.
Yes.
You know, and like that shit is just so crazy. But the important part is that you do need to be connected to your physical body. Like that, it's the first way to be present. It's literally the first way to be present. Like when you wake up, how do you feel? What does your body feel? What does your mind feel? What do you want to do today? You know what I'm saying? Like you have to awaken your unconscious.
Yeah.
Like, or subconscious? I don't fucking know. It's in my notes.
And that's why I feel like, even because I stopped for the gym for a little bit because I was a little bit on my side girl vibes, but your girl's back. I don't know if you can tell, you know.
Very buff, mother.
She's coming back. And I've been going to the gym for maybe like a week and a half now, and I wake up and I just want to sit outside for a little bit. I just want to I want to go on a walk, and then I want to go straight to the gym. Like I want to move my body. I want to start, like I love to start like that, and that's why I really love working nights. I really love being a server and having that like free time in the morning and having like my time to wake up, and I can wake up at noon if I want to wake up at noon because I work at 6, and it's like
mapping that out.
Oh my God.
Allows you to realize I'm a morning gym girl.
Yeah, I need
like
it.
Working nights.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to work around that.
Yeah.
Or
I love
be
my mornings
satisfied
to
with
myself.
how my schedule works, because this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand becoming one with someone, but I want you to also understand who I am as well.
Well, becoming one with someone doesn't mean that you have to forget your existence in the first place. It's not like, okay, like for me, merging and compromising and whatever the fuck it is, my idea about it now is much different than my idea about it 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I was still in a really different mindset of where I was constantly in a relationship. My ideas of intimacy and everything was different because I really, really merged myself into these people. I really fucking lost myself.
Yeah.
And so my ideas of these things were always like, well, if we're not one, then why are we even together?
Yeah.
Like, if we're not doing everything together, then why are we even together? If we're not 24/7, like, fucking texting and whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was what I was used to. Now, I wouldn't even know what the fuck to say to you if I had to talk to you all day long. I literally probably, my ideal, like,
Hey.
right now is like, good morning.
Still at work?
What are you doing today? 9 p.m. How was your day?
That's
it. That's like my ideal.
Or with a nice little cherry on top is a voice note.
Yeah. Or just like a little, little snap pictures of what we're doing. But like, I cannot fucking, I cannot imagine having to be like, hey, what are you doing every fucking 3 hours?
Yeah.
And then like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, and the thing is, for me,
I
at
know.
least the transition for me, my last relationship was with like a man. Like, he was a mechanic. He did not have time.
Dude.
A really straight dude, like from Ohio. He knew what he was doing, but we would not text. Like, he didn't text me. He would give me a phone call, and he would say, "Hey, wanted to see what you were doing." Okay, well, I'm gonna be here, and here. I'm still at work. Yeah, I'm stopped at Wendy's for lunch. Call me on his lunch break. I would hear from him maybe twice a day. We would talk before I went to sleep. And then that's what I started to get used to, and I felt so happy with that. And then to jump into another relationship, and then they're like, well, why aren't you texting me? And I'm like, Well, what do we?
And that goes back to
I'm like,
understanding because hello.
Do you get it?
Do
and
you
then it's like,
understand
but
the
then
type of
I
relationship
don't know
Exactly.
myself. I don't know myself, so then I am not able to tell them, hey, well, this is what I want, because I don't know what the fuck I want.
Well, you
You want me
gotta.
to be honest?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I want to text
Or
you
to
all day or
even
if I even
vocalize
want
that
to.
in the first
Because
place.
in relationships, I always let them just, I'm like, you tell me what to do. And
Girl.
I hate, no, and I
That's-
I'm like,
always,
sit the fuck down.
and I
This is
always,
your fucking syllabus of what the fuck you're getting yourself into. We
Like,
ain't doing that.
Feminine
not
energy,
anymore,
masculine
not
energy.
anymore. And that's the thing. I've always wanted to be like not really dominated, but I love to like, hey, like I've never been in something healthy. Let's just say that. Never.
You've
I've never
submitted in a healthy
No.
way.
My last relationship, it wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't like I feel like we were both just learning ourselves, so it just wasn't. We were like me. Okay, well then you and you.
Exactly. So my thing. I keep touching the mic. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
My thing is I don't want to fumble through this.
Yeah.
And me. Let's
You.
separate.
Exactly. Take the time.
Let me get it together.
Yeah.
It's
Time
healthy.
out.
Time is healthy.
And
Time.
if there is
She's
no
in the boxing
timeline.
ring, like
Right, and
time,
there is no
time.
timeline, really, right? There's no real
Beat the
timeline where you
fuck up.
can say, okay, I'm done. I've thought about it all. You know, in I don't know, 3 days.
Yeah.
No.
It's not
That's
gonna
not
happen
real.
like that. Now, granted, we can fairly say it is like a partnership type of situation. We can fairly put together, okay, in a month, let's see where we are.
Mm-hmm.
But also understand where I'm at and why I need this space in the first place to be able to come back together for the betterment of us.
Exactly, and I feel that you both need to be in an understanding that you are using this time intentionally and mindfully. A lot of people will say that, or a lot of people will have problems with someone asking for space because they themselves will not take that time to really work on themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so they're rejecting, they're projecting that fear that you are also using that time to bullshit.
Ooh.
You know,
Or to break away from.
exactly.
And
But
not
that's
what
why two people
But that's an
have to
insecurity
really be,
on them that
you have
has
to
nothing
really be
to do with
in
you.
an
So you
understanding
need to.
that like I'm really working on myself. Like I can tell you right now, I need space, and I 100% know that I know what to do with this time.
For sure.
Not a lot of people are the same, and so they project that fear of
Yeah.
what they would do onto you.
And
That's
don't get me
their
wrong,
own
I'm not
insecurity.
sitting here saying like I'm perfect. I'm the Jules gem. No, I'm definitely hard to deal with a little bit. I'm a little bit cranky in the mornings and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is learning myself. Like as a kid, I never understood. I never knew what hopeless romantic means. People called me that all throughout high school. Jules, you're such a hopeless romantic. Oh, you're such a hopeless. I just wanted love,
Please.
but I never wanted it from myself.
Huh.
I was like, how am I
Because
supposed to
nobody
like?
ever taught you that.
Exactly.
Nobody
So
ever
now I'm
told
sitting here
you.
and I'm like, for all you people that call me hopeless romantic, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get there. But
Yeah.
it's like, I never understood that. Like, I don't know. I'm very happy where I am right now today. Sometimes I feel like it's like a start over and then I have to keep like the start over. But I'm so grateful for those because those are the moments that I have like the eye openers, the moments that I'm like, oh my God, well, this is like, I'm going to be 25.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like,
amazing.
I can't do this forever.
Yeah. I'm
I can't be 30. Like,
Hell
I'm gonna be
no.
30.
she can't be 30. Like,
Listen, the whole purpose of this podcast in the first place, and the reason why I wanted to do this in the first place is because I do not want people to keep growing and hitting 30s and 40s and then realize that that's when they need
Maybe
to
I am
actually
the
make a
problem.
change.
Yeah, it's not
No.
3-0.
It should fucking start immediately. That's why we are so young and we just keep talking about all of this shit is because I want this to create conversations within within themselves because you should already be starting to work on yourself and getting to know yourself and getting to know what you want instead of hitting 30 and then realize that you haven't been paying attention and then start from there. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Right.
But imagine how much we can save if we as a collective start these conversations young.
for sure.
You know what
100%.
I'm
Like,
saying?
it really breaks my heart when I see couples do things that, and I completely am here for the if you like something, I can try to
Yeah,
compromise, but I'm not going to sit here with you every single Sunday at the Magic's game when I don't like the Magics or I don't like to watch the game.
You should be able to
do you
be
get what
your
I'm saying?
own person and do a different thing on
Yes.
Sunday
I
if you
feel
don't
like
want to go to the game.
individualism come together.
Yeah.
But still individuals.
Yes.
And I'm still learning that right now because before I'm like, no, we are one. We're
Well,
one.
there are a lot of people
You know
that
what I mean?
there are a lot of couples that work like that, and like again, we are not the ideal place to be, but neither is everyone else. The ideal place to be is where you figure that shit out for yourself. I know that I won't be able to commit in a relationship where we do everything fucking 24/7 together, but if it works for you, bro, amazing. And that's the thing. That's the thing. I admire people that can open up and are extroverted, and I admire people that don't have problems initiating and everything so much. So much. Just because I know how I am doesn't mean I want everybody to be how I am. I know exactly how I am, but I admire people that are different than me so much because they are so much more capable of things that I struggle with. Yeah. And that's so beautiful because everyone has different capabilities and different just like strength and weaknesses, and we should be able to learn from it by watching them grow within themselves. We shouldn't be diminishing anybody's growth. We shouldn't be holding anybody back by our own selfish needs. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you last time, if you really had good friends, your friends would not want you to drop their shit to go and help them. Your friends would want you to work on your shit first and then come and help them when you have the fucking time. No matter what, bro, like we all need each other and we all need connection, but it starts as an individual. I say this all the time. If everybody just do a little, no one would have to fucking do a lot. If everybody just do a little bit within themselves, nobody would have to actually overcompensate and fucking do more when they're in a partnership because the other person isn't doing their part. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like save everybody fucking
like
time.
I'm gonna say something right now. Like for me, I went to EDC this weekend and it was so magical. I remember Friday, Zed's Dead was playing. And I remember just like sitting with my friends. I'm not sitting, I was standing. And I'm looking around and everybody's moving. Everybody's dancing. If you've ever been to a festival, you know the energy. Everyone is just being so nice to everybody. Everyone's on the same level. And I'm standing there. And there was a moment where he was playing. And I was like, damn, I wish nobody was here. And that sounds so bad from somebody that loves to be around people.
Why did you think that though? Like, was it for like, damn, I wish nobody was here so that I could take all of this shit in and just fucking be?
I think I was getting so into, like, so one with the music that I just wanted to be, like, by myself. Like, I just wanted to enjoy, like, I felt like I wanted to enjoy and have, I don't know, ever since we spoke to Kaylee and Kaylee was talking about how she travels by herself and stuff, I've always wanted, I never could even think about doing that. Like I'm so shy and so scared, but in that moment I had like this like vibe and this like courageous thought, and I was like, wow, I wish I came alone. You know? And I've never had like a feeling of like, be by yourself, be alone, go by yourself. So to sit in the crowd of, and I loved my friends and I loved every minute of EDC. Don't think that I'm like, yeah, I wish you guys never came, because that's not the case. But in that moment, I was like, I wish I could experience it by myself so it could be a little bit more
intimate.
Deeper and
Can I tell you
intimate,
something?
You know?
I always, and even for the friends that go with me to shows and stuff, I don't know if they've noticed, but like I enjoy everything alone. Yeah. So even if I go with a group, you will always see me like holding my own self in the corner with nobody there and just vibing. I will never, like, I don't know. There have been like concerts and stuff to where I'm with my girlfriends, we're vibing, the vibe is great and it's chilling. But most of the time, I enjoy everything alone, and it's because there's like this comfort of no one fucking bothering you in the moment. You know, when you're vibing with someone else, you have to be on their vibe, or you have to still pay attention to them.
At least that's what you feel like.
Yeah, but for me, I get way too like. One, I get too distracted, and two, I'm way too into the music. So like I get too distracted because I have ADHD. So anything that goes on around me is like I cannot not pay attention to them. So at all times I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
What's going on?
But then the other thing is that I'm like absorbed like into the music. So like once, Cause that's what shows are for me. Ever since I was young, I used to sing and shit. So like shows, like concert, is just it does something to me. So like when I'm at shows with you, I was literally just at a Jessie Reyes concert, and I went with a friend, and they brought it was amazing.
Oh my
but
God.
and they brought their friend, right? So I was like standing here, I was in the crowd with my friend, her friend, and whatever. And the entire time, bro, I did not pay attention to not one single thing that was around me, like not even them. Even though we came together, because I was like, no, like this is my shit. Like it's how I like to go through things, and so that's why I was like, that's so awesome that thought was provoked in you, and you feel inclined to do it differently somehow or whatever. I buy shit alone all the time. I used to fear being alone the most growing up, and now I think that I have made friends with that fear, and now I have found comfort in actually being alone. So it's almost like it flipped.
Yeah.
But like I think that everyone has to be able to find that comfort within themselves alone in certain places, situations, whatever it is, because like it's so nice to not base what you feel on how other people is doing, feeling, and what it looks like to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if you're enjoying it. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not trying to kill your mood, but I'm just gonna stand here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You have
Like,
the right to do that too, in
100%.
the same way as like maybe you're enjoying it differently, and I just feel like vibing by myself, bumping over here, so I'm gonna go over here. It's nothing personal to your friends.
For sure,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, I've done that before. I've even in my relationships, I'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna go out with my friends for like a lunch or a breakfast or even like a birthday dinner, because generally you wouldn't go or you wouldn't take me. So I'm just gonna reserve that space for you, even though nothing's happening. And it's just so backwards how I put myself in that box where it was like,
cause like what, like I'm not gonna do this because like
All
you
I
don't
can
feel
think
like
about-
doing it with me. You know what I'm saying? Like
I remember me and Candace went to breakfast. And we got so high before going inside. like we smoked a whole joint. Anyway, so we were waiting, we go inside. And the guy pours us water. You already know what it is. He pours us water and he puts the big jug there. I'm stoned. Like I'm sitting there and we're sitting literally in like a little 2 booth in the middle of the restaurant. So we're looking around and we're like, okay, not a booth. Okay, whatever. That's fine, cool. We're there, we're cracking up, we're laughing. I go and I drink from the whole gallon that he brings of water. Yo! And Candace looks at me and says, Jules, you're high ass. And I was like, with the whole jug of water, because I drink jugs of water at my house, like, bro, I literally just had it in my
the server
hand.
in the corner, like watching your table, judging the fuck out of them. Like what is this bitch doing?
Candace
That's
yo, she
amazing.
was like, you're high ass, Jules, that's the water jug. And I was like, I put it down and I was so embarrassed. There was lipstick around it. I was like, no.
I'm so sorry.
It was so bad. It was,
so
sorry, so
funny.
once you said breakfast, I just couldn't stop laughing.
Yes. But that was the
moment.
first time I was able to kind of just like release and relax.
Yeah.
But it was so silly that it happened kind of in the midst of this weird separation kind of thing. I was like, okay, I finally am giving myself space to take care of myself,
And
spend time with
explore
my
my
friends.
own.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to the gym, and I was like, I'm hungry, and she's like, breakfast, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
So, understanding yourself, acknowledging how you feel, following that feeling, and going with it is actually, if it's the safe thing to do, do it.
Yeah.
And not letting a partner kind of hinder that. And that was one of the things that I noticed too, and from the documentary, is that I really am a person of, I need to know the reality of things. It's very weird. I need to know that I'm gonna feel pain in life. For some reason, it just needs to be vocalized to me for me to understand it. So when the
3 things that people cannot avoid, which is the 3 aspects of reality that no one gets to avoid: pain, uncertainty, and constant work.
So knowing that, I can then like lock in almost. But without knowing it, sometimes it's like a weird, uncommon sense thing that just doesn't click for me.
Do you know what else that the therapist said in the documentary is that the greatest creation of an individual is when they are in the biggest like pain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the greatest product comes from the hardest times. And it's because like as a human, that's all you know. You have to overcome that shit. You cannot submit to it. And the most beautiful products of all of the people that are the most encouraging, the most motivating, the most everything, you know what I'm saying? They all have had the shittiest lives. But that's like exactly, like, pain really does, like, okay, like, if I never moved, right? If I never moved and I never experienced the depression that came to me in 5th grade from moving, being bullied, all of these different things that shifted my entire life, I don't think that I would be even like close to what I am now, because when I was in Vietnam, I was the most confident, fearless kid. Like, everybody knew it. They picked me to be the leader of everything and whatever. And then once I came over here, I became the exact opposite of it, because I was just broken down. So like, the product of me now is that. But if I would have stayed in Vietnam, who knew what I would have been, you know? I would have still been, nobody would have like knocked my shit down so bad, because I was still like the shit.
Yeah.
And
she's the shit.
But another point is that we were just talking about the 3 life forces. So we hit on your body. The second one is your relationship with other people. And I love this perspective that he offered, which is that when you get depressed, you tend to pull away from relationships in your life, right? But they actually are the key to pulling you back in. But you know what else? The key is that you have to initiate it.
I got the key?
Yes. The key is that you have to initiate it. You cannot wait for people to come around, because and it makes sense. I cannot wait for these people to come and listen to me cry and ask how I feel if I didn't tell them in the first place, hey, I need your help. This is what I'm feeling.
I had that happen today.
So
I have
like this today.
I have this. There's this app that I've discovered from TikTok, and it's called How We Feel. And
downloading.
Please, it's free.
Oh, love that.
So How We
It's free?
Feel does a very nice. It's like has you check in, and it reminds you, and it has a really pretty app, so that like my brain is like, yes, I love it here.
Yeah.
So it associates colors and feelings and things like that, and it does accumulation of how you felt during the week, who you felt best, or how you were feeling with a certain person, how you were feeling where you were, how you were feeling during a certain task. And it collects it all for you. And not only that, you get to share that with your friends. And so what happened is in the middle of today, I was feeling anxious. So I was like, let me just go ahead and check in. And I shared it with my friends. And my friend was like, hey, are you feeling anxious? And I was like,
that's so sweet.
It's because I told you.
Yeah.
So,
you can't wait for everyone to come to you, and that's like the harsh reality of vulnerability.
That's the smartest app I think I've ever even fucking heard of.
Isn't that nice?
And there's an app that pays you for walking.
Really?
So listen, oh yeah.
Oh wow.
They will pay you for your steps. But this
any
one's
little fucking gigs that you can make money off of.
Make
you
fucking
will know,
money.
bro.
Oh
yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
I know.
But
I know everything.
the last thing to activate your life forces, and your third life force is your relationship with yourself. And so the point that he hit is that, like, you need to get into a relationship with your unconscious, which is what I said earlier. And it's because no one is going to know their unconscious unless they tap into it, right? And like, you have to enhance your relationship with yourself by like getting to know that part. And a tool that you can use is like my writing. Remember how I used to talk about journaling and stuff?
You were just talking about it.
Yeah, like journaling
Like
and
literally.
shit.
We were at a festival one time and I looked down, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just writing how I feel right now.
Literally, I was like, I'm
Like
high
literally,
as fuck.
she just
like,
had
I'm drugged.
she had dates and
You?
she just
Yeah.
yeah, she was on acid I think, and she was just like, I'm just writing how I feel right now.
I have a section in my notes.
When she was done, she came and she just hugged me, and I was like, this is the best. I'm gonna remember this forever.
I love that.
But in the same form as writing, speaking is also like what we're doing right now. Even though I don't journal and stuff as much, I get to sit here like every week with you guys, and I get to like actually hear my process and my train of thoughts and like what I'm feeling on the inside, and like you can like. It helps so much if two people come together and they each know their own unconscious and they each know themselves, and so they can bring each other together in a healthy way. Instead of like two unhealthy people who are not working on themselves, coming together, thinking that just because they have each other that everything will be completed.
Exactly. Or one person
will carry
that
the load.
initiator, and the other person being like, I think that's really silly.
Yeah.
Why are we here?
For sure.
One part about
and mistakes
this,
will be made. Mistakes will be made. Do not beat yourself up. We are human. Mistakes. Enter it right here, Johnny, please. Mistakes are gonna be fucking made.
In sparkles. Mistakes.
But one thing that I didn't like in the documentary was that, or it like kind of like it clicked, but not fully. You know, it was like, yeah, just be kind because that's just the easiest and better thing to do for your insides. Like that's very, very paraphrased, but like be kind because it's just easier for yourself. And I was just like, that's kind of what I started out with. Like, sometimes it's just not always ideal for my brain.
No, of course not. But this comes back to my point that I made last week. I would rather be on the receiving end of what you're saying to me and that hurts than have to deal with the fact that I said something nasty to you and it hurt your feelings. Yeah. That's what I think it meant when it's like being kind is just better on your soul.
For the amount of...
For everyone, mostly, and I don't know how people function, but personally, this is how I function. It all comes down to my action and how satisfied I am with my own action. It literally does not matter what other people do because those things don't sit with me. What you do to me, it'll sit with me and then I'll process it and it's done.
Yeah.
Those things will not sit with me. What does sit with me is my own action, how I chose to carry myself, how I chose to put love out into the world. And if I chose to do something nasty and I knew that I had power and control over that, that shit doesn't sit well with me. And so I know, even though it takes more work to be kind, it really fucking does. It takes more work to be kind. It's better on your insides.
Yeah.
Like, it's instant gratification and relief when you react as petty as the other person is doing to you. Because then you get to, like, fight and you get to fucking, like, go at it. And it feels so good in the moment. But then what doesn't feel good is now you're regretting everything that you said and you wish that you could take it back. And the only reason why you wish you could take it back is because you know those things made an impact on the other person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I would rather just sit on that. I'd rather sit on the fact that you called me something nasty and then process that has nothing to do with you and you're actually nasty and then let that shit go than me reacting actually nasty and then having to deal with that.
My mom told me, she was like, Mom, I was like, Mom, I can't take this. I'm not going to text him back. Like, who cares? I'm just not going to give a response. Like, this just doesn't warrant anything. And not giving a response was low-key nasty, you know? So she was like, why are you doing that when you're now giving him a reason for him to tell other people, whether he will do it or not, that you're mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, dang. Yeah, no, I don't want to be known as mean.
She's like,
so,
goes back in time.
So I had to like kind of gulp, you know, digest that and be like, okay, no, I don't want to be known as mean. So me putting forth the effort to be mean seems a little bit less desirable.
It's not really true to how you are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, the way that you react to situations, and I have learned from being so fucking explosive, dude, and that's why I shut down in arguments and stuff, is because the way that I used to be is nothing like this, and the way that I used to be have made me feel so fucking bad and so nasty about my own being that's why I'm like this now. Because I used to be so fucking like, dude, I used to like take pride in the fact that I can be as petty as you, that I can hurt you as much as you hurt me. I used to literally take pride in being a scumbag. And I tell everybody that. I used to be a fucking scumbag, bro. And it takes work to like circle around and like choose to be the kindest person in the room. But like, don't let it fool you that like just because that person is fucking kind and is choosing to be nice to you means that you can, 1, take advantage of them, 2, take them for granted, and 3, think that you can play them. Because
you don't know where
that
kindness is coming
from. I fucking promise you, like, bro, I've done a lot of fucking work and you don't want this shit like unleashed.
You want to know what's so every week that we come back and we do this and we talk and it just gets more and more like the best thing that I have ever done in my whole entire life. I look at Khan and I'm like, oh my God, you smoke so much weed, but I have never met anybody else with a better memory. Like how does that even like
Selective memory, baby. That's it. That's it. I'm like,
Because
I am
her
refusing to
memory,
remember
like,
this.
she can do a whole sentence that a guest said from last week and be like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's
Because they're
what was
points.
said.
They're important
Like, she,
points
like,
to hit.
is... But she, as soon as Candace walked in, she said, I can't wait to smoke after. That's all I want. I can't wait to smoke after. Are you ready? Because we're rolling up.
Yeah.
I appreciate this little.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I literally
You're
have
the
the
best.
worst memory on fucking
No, she
earth,
doesn't.
bro.
No, she doesn't.
This is
Don't
how you
even
know
let
I be
her.
testing it. I'm a
Yeah.
server.
I be
I
testing
should
it.
be writing
Oh,
shit
for
on my
sure.
pad because that's what it's fucking there for. You know how many times I go back to the computer and I go back to my table like all cutesy, not in the really way that I am, but I'm pretending to be. I'm like, hey, so I can't read my own handwriting. Or, hey, I literally can't remember what the fuck you said 3 seconds ago. Was your burger medium or medium well?
Yeah.
If not, I'm putting it fucking medium rare.
Oh my god, no, for real. Either that or it's gonna be like, moo right out here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the last part of this documentary. It's not the last part because literally all of this shit is in the beginning of the documentary. So please get through like all of it because it's so
Worth it.
fucking good. But there's a part that the therapist talks about, part X. So there's your 3 life forces, and then there is part X.
I
And
haven't seen it yet, but
And so part
You guys are,
X
like,
is
really
basically, it's just the villain in the story of being a person. So it is the voice of impossibilities. So part X is something that is in everybody, but you can't get rid of. Like you can use tools and things to whatever, but it's something that exists within you because think about it. There has to be bad to be good. There has to be darkness to be light. So you can't So yeah, exactly. So without part X, like without having the voice of telling you that this is impossible and you're making it up and you're doing this wrong and whatever, without that voice, there would be nothing for you to fight to get to that growth of being so certain of yourself, of being so connected to yourself. So like you need like part X, and that's why he said that the 3 aspects of reality that no one gets to avoid is pain, uncertainty, and constant work. If you could banish part X, then there would be no story because there's nothing to fight for and there's no growth. So like, it just, I love that all of this is being, again, it's not like fucking a new profound theory, you know what I'm saying? Everybody knows this. This is like within everybody's like conscious. You've been taught this once or twice or whatever, but it's being put in a way where it makes it so much easier to use and ground yourself.
Yes.
Like, I think like all of this therapy, all of the mindfulness shit, journaling, all of it is to ground yourself. Because like, and sorry, I'm an earthy ass bitch. Like, all I want is peace and fucking stability and whatever.
Yes.
But like, at the core, doesn't everybody want that?
Yeah.
Because like, you can be fiery and fun and whatever, but like at the end of the day, you still want to come back to some sense of peace.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I just love that he said, if you're lost, don't try to figure it out and just try to work on your life forces.
I love that.
I love it. I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah.
Me too.
Honestly,
It's so
I
good.
think we should watch it all together because I have not seen it. Yeah,
It's
I
honestly so
definitely-
good. It's called Stutz. Stutz. Stutz is the last name of his therapist. And I just really love that there are just so much more representation and the right representation in media now. There are a lot of people, different people, famous people talking about mental health, what they've been doing, whatever it is. And I just love that like we are a part of the movement of destigmatizing mental well-being. You know?
Oh yeah, I called my dad one time and I was like, yeah, I've been in therapy since May, and he was like, oh, are you okay?
No.
Like,
Is everything okay?
Audible gasp.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Oh my
Yeah,
god, maybe you're
like-
crazy.
I was like, I'm fine. I just want to make
She's
sure.
like, I didn't go to the ER or anything, Dad.
Yeah.
No, but this is another thing about therapy, and I really. This dude asked me, like, why do you go to therapy, like, 3 fucking times, right? And each time, I didn't want to get into it because it wasn't a person that was going to actually listen to me. He just kind of wanted to know if I was crazy or not.
Weird.
So, I just, from,
Not
like,
funny, huh?
those
Funny
experiences, and dude, the dude is fucking like 30, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not like much older or younger than me or whatever, but the range of 6 years of how I choose to be and how a person of that age chooses to be, you can see the difference in how they were raised and what they were taught with their upbringing through media and what media portrays therapy and all of this shit to be, because there are people at that age that still carries this stigma, right? And there are people our age and younger than us that carries the same stigma because that's what they're learning in their home. But like, therapy is not necessary just because you have trauma. Therapy is a form of relief and reflection. It's you choosing to work on your problems, no matter if they're big, small, traumatic, not traumatic. It's literally just a step towards working on yourself. It's help in a way because now you have a person where you can actually productively vent and say things to, instead of fucking going to your friends, venting, and then them either projecting their own trauma onto you or not really giving a good constructive, like, you know, feedback or whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, you can rely on your friends like that, but how fair is that to your friends? You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't, just because they're your friend doesn't mean that like they're supposed to carry on all of your load. That's why therapy exists, so that you can take your own load and go and work on it yourself, so that you don't have to drive everyone away in your life just because you are constantly fucking vomiting your problems onto them. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair to your friends. You wouldn't want your friends to do that to you either. Anybody that's been like a sounding board for people in their life, that's whatever, will always have the same thing to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like they acknowledge that their friend is dumping onto them, and maybe that they don't like it so much, but they take it anyways. No one should have to live
what my
like
therapist
that.
said to me.
I can never leave your therapist. The shit that your therapist. Choose your therapist and take time to choose them. Not every single one is right for you, and not every single one has the right things to say back. You need to take your time with your therapist, and don't be discouraged that it doesn't work out the first time. I tried 3. And now I'm like, okay, we're good.
I got a new one, and the only thing that's making me a little bit more uncomfortable, well, a lot more uncomfortable, is they're trying to really push like antidepressants. They're like, maybe you're just a little sad, maybe 15 milligrams once a day, once twice a day.
And you're saying that you're saying that they're pushing onto you after you have already expressed that you don't want it.
And the thing is, I expressed that I always considered medicine being like a last resort. Like when I first started getting seizures, I was like, wait, I don't want to take medicine yet. I'm like, let me try herbal, let me try smoking weed, like let me try meditation, let me try listening to these sounds before I go to sleep. So it's like, I feel like even therapists, unless they can physically see like, oh, okay, this girl's talking to me as Karen one day, and the next day she's coming and she's like, hi, I'm Allie. You know what I mean? Unless it's super like you can see it like that, I feel like there's so much things that you get inner work that you can do that it's like, I feel like medicine should always be the last resort. But then again, some therapists just make all that money and then just say like, here's your prescription. So then every therapist is not going to be for you.
So you get that gut feeling.
So you know what? Quit that shit.
Oh, quit that shit! Oh my god, I forgot we didn't have quit that shit. This is the longest episode ever.
Yes.
Fuck. Okay.
Quit that shit.
Quit that shit. Quit that shit. You know what I want to quit?
You gotta make music for it.
You know what I want to quit? That, yes. Remember how I said my dad came over and found my weed and like won't talk to me about it?
Yeah.
What I really want to quit is I want to quit hiding myself from my parents. I want to stop. Like, I want to stop. I really want to stop accommodating them. I don't want to accommodate them to make them feel comfortable when I feel like this. I'm a grown ass fucking being. I have the right to do what I want to do. I'm literally like a great kid, okay?
Great.
You know what I'm saying? But just because it doesn't match up with the ideas of what they have in their mind doesn't mean that I'm not great. And I need to stop hiding my true self. You know, my family thinks that I'm sick. You know, like, so, mentally. You know how I look with other people, how I carry myself and whatever? I'm not like that with my family, because my family has always made me feel bad about the way that I look. So I became like, you know what? Fuck it all. Again, if you don't approve of what I show you, I'm not showing you anything. So literally, I don't even come home like, I come home because of my tattoos. I come home in sweatpants and hoodies all the time. So I already look like I'm homeless. My mom says that all the time. And then I just found out that they think that I literally look sick because I used to be a little heavier than what I used to be, and now I'm just a lot skinnier. And when I was fat, they called me fat, and now that I'm skinny, they say I'm too skinny. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're never really happy
Be Puerto Rican.
The whatever. But Like the whole point is that I just don't carry myself well around my families because to me it's like, fuck you, you don't deserve to see me at my best, right? Oof. But now
it's like no lipstick.
Now I found that because they think that I'm like sick, it brings a different perspective to me that I'm like, dude, you're right. You don't see me all the time. You don't talk to me all the time. And if this is what I'm presenting to you, of course that's what you're gonna think. So what I really, really want to quit is I really want to quit like pretending to be something that I'm not, pretending to be like so covered up and like this and that, and like I don't want to blame it on the fact that like you told me to hide, you know. I know that that's what you said and I can use that as an excuse to behave the way that I behave, but I'm better than that, and I know that I don't need to hide, and I need to be able to like, dude, I'm a grown-ass fucking woman. If I smoke weed and you don't like it, I'm not gonna stop, but you need to like, I want you to know, like, I don't want to hide that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just want to stop fucking hiding, especially from my family. I want to stop, like, hiding my fucking tattoos and, like, hiding the fact that I look beautiful and I look great and I am healthy. Just, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to, like, it's so exhausting. I want to quit it. I want to be free.
Quit that shit. Oh, my God. That's the, yeah, that's. Wow,
what is you quitting, Shadi?
What you quit?
Me?
Yep. Me?
Oh, I'm gonna quit stopping myself from doing the things that I know would be beneficial for me.
Yes, like having lunches with your girlfriend.
Yes. Lunch on Wednesday.
Also, I want to stop allowing my mind to discipline my body because as of late, I wanted to wake up earlier, and sometimes I wake up because as of late, I'll go to sleep at like 10, but then my body will randomly wake up perfectly fine at like 4:30. So like, why don't I just run with it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But then my body's like, no, it's
like,
4:30.
Yeah, it's like back in the bed.
4 more hours. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to be able to be mentally strong to be able to take myself out of that. Like, you don't feel tired, so get up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You know what really worked for me? And I think I heard this on a Joe Rogan podcast. As soon as he hears the alarm, he doesn't look at the alarm. He keeps it on until he gets out of the bed. Like, he literally, like, shoots himself up out of the bed, doesn't turn it off until he's physically alarmed, like, awake, like, woken up.
Ooh,
so I would say, yeah, try your best. Even if you do have to, like, set a little alarm, or don't turn that bitch off until you're physically like, okay, let's start this.
You know what my alarm regimen is? 5 minutes away from each other. I have a time for everything. 7, 7:05, 7:10, 7:15, 7:20.
So
but that's because you have it.
I know.
Yeah.
So, but
It's
it should
so
be
funny.
like across the room so you can like get up and grab it or whatever. But totally understand that. Like, don't let yourself go back to sleep after this. I used to do that too.
Exactly.
But I would go.
It's hard.
What's you put in, Shadi? Let's wrap it up.
Let's see. Not really like. I mean, I guess it's like quitting. But at the same time, it's more of like learning in a sense. Just I guess things that I cannot control, I need to learn on my reactions. That's that. It's just a reaction thing. I get so.
I'm gonna tie that back in with the codependency thing that you want to quit. Your reaction. It ties into that because like when you evaluate your reaction, you gotta be able to be like, how do I feel? Do I want to be like this or do I want to be like this? And most of the time, you're gonna be like, you're gonna want to be like that, and that is the old way of going back to what you know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you're consciously like, you know, you can do it.
Yeah, I know
you can do it. You can fucking do
We're all
it.
quitting shit. Oh my god, this has been amazing. I literally still want to talk.
I know. I'm gonna quit my goal of 45 to an hour episode because every fucking time the 45-minute mark comes up,
we just have such
only
great
talk
people.
about our feelings. I know.
Yeah, we have such great people here that we're like, we want to know everything. We're like, keep it coming, keep it coming. So,
maybe non-guest episodes could be 45.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, no.
When
When it's solo,
like,
let's wrap it
it's
up,
like
bro.
it's the catch up. It's the catch up.
But this really has been an amazing episode. I hope that you pulled a lot of gems out of it. I actually planned I didn't really have an outline. I did have something else that I was gonna hit, and then I just planned the entire thing about this documentary, and I just think that it's really fucking awesome, and I hope that everybody watches it. It's on Netflix. It's called Studs, and I hope that it's not the first groundbreaking project about mental well-being, whatever, but it's one of many that is really pushing this in like the right direction and a direction that we all appreciate. And so I'm really grateful that I get to have a platform where I get to share it with the most like amazing people, and we are like in the foundation of like pushing this towards the right direction. Like our podcast is along with, or I want to put it in there, like I'm trying to create like the most fun hangout space to
For
where
sure.
you can come and cry too. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what's crazy also,
We'll
I
be
want
there.
to add on to the Jonah Hill. If you see him in any movie, you would have never been like, oh, that guy's definitely in therapy. You know what I mean? So to sit and to have him be so vulnerable and so open and to make a whole Netflix series.
And like he's a like comedian, like essentially, you know what I'm saying? Like you can like, oh, it just shows that like it's so beautiful.
It's
Like all
powerful.
different kinds
It's
of people are like
powerful.
just getting help because everyone needs help. That's what I said. That's what I mean earlier. You don't. It's not like therapy only exists for super traumatic shit.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta be able to process everyday shit, because if you don't know how to process everyday shit, when the traumatic shit comes, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
Fall apart.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mommy Milky.
But fucking mommy milk.
I'm sorry, okay, I'm done. But this has truly been a blessing. And if you are listening on podcast, listen. I hope you go on YouTube and
Come
like
to the
and subscribe.
YouTube.
Come to the YouTube because we are so funny here. You have no idea. I'm so glad that you can see what we're doing now, because I make so many weird noises and
I
weird
was worried about my
things.
faces.
You know what I mean?
You know what we should try to do?
Just
Do one
recording.
episode without hand gesture.
Oh, I
Have you ever seen
I
this
would
TikTok?
literally have
There's
to
a
sit.
TikTok. There's a
My
TikTok
shoulders
of
are-
Yeah.
this girl recording her Italian boyfriend trying to speak without
His
using his hand, and he was like clearly like in distress. It's the
Right.
funniest shit.
I love
What are you talking about?
But you can also find us on TikTok now at Mental Chillness 11. Our social medias on Instagram is Mental Chillness.podcast. Facebook is Mental Chillness Podcast. I am Mega Khan, and Jules is lots of Jules with 2 S's. And you can find Candace.
on all platforms. Over at The Hype is Dead.
She's also, if you didn't listen to the last one, Candace is an amazing
Photographer.
published editorial photographer.
Yes. Oh my god.
So, check out her shit. Hit her up for services. She
Yes.
got you. She got the best vision in the house.
Yes, she
She's
does.
gonna make that shit happen. And we're so grateful that you blessed us with your presence.
Seriously.
So-
Thank you for
I'm
being
so glad to
here.
be here.
And I just want to say this on camera. We recently hired a social media manager. Her name is Stephanie.
Stephanie.
She sits in our recordings and stuff. And honestly, connection is everything, because she was brought to me by one of my best friends. And I'm just really, really grateful that like bringing someone like Stephanie into the team, she kind of fits right in, because
Oh, for
her
sure.
vision and our vision and the way that she thinks and what she's about and stuff, we don't really have to do a lot to explain ourselves, because she just gets it.
She
So I'm
knows.
just
She
very
knows the vibe.
grateful that
The
the
vibes
process all together is like coming in harmony, you know? It's really hard for me to trust people.
Yeah.
So the fact that I can trust Stephanie, I'm
Yeah.
like,
She's like, this is it. This is it.
I
Yeah.
love
so
that.
yeah, see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye everyone.